Memorial services are underway for Bexar County Commissioner Paul Elizondo, who died last week.
Right now, his family is meeting with loved ones and friends ahead of a rosary service scheduled for 7 p.m. Eyewitness News reporter Erica Zucco is live at San Fernando Cathedral, where all of this is happening. And Erica, what have you been seeing today?
Well, Jeff and Deborah, steady like the rain, people have been heading into the cathedral here to pay tribute and pay their respects to Paul Elizondo. Elizondo died just 2 days after Christmas and after a lifetime of service in the classroom, at the Capitol, and on Commissioner's Court. Draped in red, white, and blue, a tribute to his service, Paul Elizondo was remembered by a line of mourners touched by his legacy.
He loved music. He loved politics, and he loved his family.
Most recently known for his service in Bexar County, Elizondo was elected nearly a dozen times to a post on Commissioner's Court. He totaled more than 3 decades of service, overseeing wide-ranging projects.
Mission Reach of the River, largest ecological restoration of an urban river in the United States, led to us getting the World Heritage designation for the missions. We did the Tobin Center for the Performing Arts, 13 regional amateur sports parks.
In a cathedral so central to San Antonio, graced with history and significance, was a still and quiet memorial for a man who shaped much of the county's recent history. That silence interrupted only by the steps of deputies journeying in to stand watch. You could see the size of his impact as flowers filled the floor for a man whose career bloomed from the Marine Corps to teaching to the legislature to Commissioner's Court. But the most vibrant displays honored him as a father, grandfather, and husband. And based on statute, it'll be up to Judge Nelson Wolf to appoint someone to take Elizondo's place. But the county told me today that understandably, he's right now just focused on mourning his friend of 17 years. Live at Main Plaza, Erica Zucco, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.